If you guys been grading in Rec 709 from the start, you could be making a huge mistake. And today I'm going to be walking you guys through how I grade a scene from my short film Mia, while also comparing Film Look Creator and Qazi's toolkit. Because I just believe that, not everyone has DaVinci Resolve Studio, and I want to give you guys a solid option no matter what you guys are using. Now, before we dive in, quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is Qazi. His toolkit is packed with tools like the color compressor, look DNA, and skin juice mixer. It is designed to help you guys speed up your color grading workflow and help you guys nail professional color grades. I put a link in the description box below. You guys can download the demo version of each one and test it out for yourself before purchasing. Trust me, it is worth every penny. I speak highly of it all over this channel. The best news is I've extended the giveaway for another week. That way you guys have plenty of time to enter for a chance to win a free copy of his toolkit. It is literally valued at over $600, okay? This is gonna be one of the largest giveaways I've ever done on this channel. So be sure to enter, hit that link below to enter in to win. All right, let's jump right into DaVinci Resolve because we're gonna be grading a scene from the short film we've been working on called Mia. And I specifically chose this scene right here, and it's the ice cream shop. Now, this was a tough one because of how small the space actually was. I literally lit it with an Aperture 300D as my key light and only a tube light. It's made by Invitful for a fill light. That's all I could do, and it was such a tiny space, but we made it work, right? Now, before we actually start adjusting anything, we need to check our project settings, because if the project settings are wrong, your final export might look completely different than what you guys see while you're grading. To do this, we're going to come in here to our project settings right here on the bottom corner. We're going to go into our color management tab, and on our color science, we're going to set it to DaVinci YRGB, and our timeline color space, we're going to set it to DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate. And the output color space is going to match what our monitor is reading, which our monitor is at Rec 709. So in my case, that's Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. This is exactly what my monitor is reading. Now, this setup right here, it lets us work in a larger color space before converting it down for delivery, which keeps, the colors cleaner, and it gives us the most flexibility. The other things that we need to do in the project settings real quick is come down to a lookup table and make sure that your 3D lookup table is set to tetrahedral instead of trilinear. And then we're going to also check make broadcast safe. Now, let's talk about node structure, because this is something a lot of people overlook, but it makes a huge difference in your final results. I like to use what I call the sandwich method, and this is something I was taught from Qazi in his masterclass. And if you guys are not part of his masterclass and you guys want to learn color grading, that's the place to go. It is absolutely amazing. It's packed with all kinds of nuggets to teach you guys industry standards on color grading. Now, I want you guys to think of this sandwich method as your CST nodes, your color space transform nodes, are the bread, and everything in between is where the magic happens, right? It is where the meat of the sandwich is. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and actually create two nodes for right now. And our first one is gonna be CST in. Our second one is gonna be CST out. Our first one on our input is gonna be what we shot the camera, it's gonna be our raw logged settings. This is where we're gonna convert the raw logged footage into DaVinci Wide Gamut. Since this was shot on the Blackmagic Pocket 4K in Blackmagic RAW, we're going to come in here and click on Blackmagic Design Wide Gamut Gen 4 5. You see that? And in our input gamma, we're going to go ahead and click on Blackmagic Design Film Gen 5. Output color space, we're going to go ahead and set this to our largest color space that we just discussed, right? DaVinci Wide Gamut, DaVinci Intermediate. And that's the color space that we set to right here. It's our timeline color space. And then our CST out, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on Gamma 2.4. Now, right away, you can see the conversion happening, right? we got Rec 709 Gamma 2.4 being played out, and this is what's showing on our monitor. From that, we're gonna actually create another node, and this is gonna be our balance node. What we're gonna do here is I'm actually gonna be matching 2 shots here, so that way you guys can see how this will work. Now, normally what I'll do when I'm grading a whole scene is I'll go into Lightbox and I will group these together, so that way I don't have to keep on copying and pasting. In fact, let's just go ahead and do that now. And I'm just gonna go ahead and group actually these 2 shots, and we're gonna add it into a new group, and we're gonna say ice cream shop. What you're gonna see up here now is we're gonna see 4 different dots, right? Our group pre-clip, our group post-clip, and our timeline. And this is where we're gonna be working out of. And this is where we're gonna be at our starting point, and this is gonna be our look and our end point. Now, I do have to redo some of the things, but it's okay because I do want to show you guys the rawness of everything and the struggles that we run into, right? So we'll go ahead and redo this real quick. And again, you know, film Gen 5. And then we're going to put in here for DaVinci Wide Gamut, DaVinci Intermediate. And then on our post clip here, we're going to do the opposite, right? We're going to come in here, color space transform. We're going to do the opposite of DaVinci Wide Gamut, DaVinci Intermediate, and Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. And then on their tone mapping, we're going to click on Use Custom Max Input and actually crank this to 10,000 nits, so we have the max amount of range to work with. It's just something that I like to do. It's my preference. And then right in here, this is our clip base, right? So everything that I'm doing inside this tab is not going to be affecting this. But as you can see, they're both set to Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. It's a proper conversion between the two. All right. So we're going to go ahead and click on one node here, and we're going to label this balance, and we're going to do the same here. And right away, I mean, they look pretty well balanced, except this one is a little bit redder. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my raw card instead, and I'm just going to work off the raw card just to quickly do this. And I'm going to look on my scopes here, and you can see how warm it is right now. I'm actually going to cool this off till I'm actually happy and it's pretty well balanced. And I am actually pretty happy with this. And then on our balance node, I'm going to go ahead and correct our contrast just a little, just adding some subtle contrast here. That looks okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go in our raw card. You can see a lot of magenta happening. So I'm going to adjust the tint just a little, and I'm going to cool it off a little. I still have a little bit too much magenta happening, so I'm going to cool it off a little bit more. And that what I'm looking at here is on my waveform. You can see my highlights actually going into white. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust my contrast on this. And what we could do here is we could click on both of them, and right away we can see what's happening here, right? And the other cool thing is that when we have them selected, we can actually see what's happening on our scopes. So on our scopes, the right one right here is this image. This one is this image, right? So everything I'm doing to this one right here, you're going to see it going up and down, right? I'm going to go ahead and actually bring this up ever so slightly while dialing back our gamma. This is where all the play stuff happens, right? Got to play it around until you actually get the happy medium. And I'm still not too happy with how much magenta's in here, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in a little bit more and cool this off a little bit. It's actually a pretty hard shot to match, and I'm mainly looking at right here and the skin tones. Looks to me that it's pretty well balanced, so we're gonna move on. Everything is dialed in now, so let's compare the Film Look Creator and Qazi's toolkit. We're gonna start with the Film Look Creator, and this is actually built into DaVinci Resolve, and it's available for the studio and the free version, so it doesn't matter, you know, it's an option for you guys to work with. It's a great tool though if you guys need a fast, simple way to get that look that you want. And it applies the contrast, the saturation, and the film style adjustments with just a few clicks. But the downside of it, it doesn't give you much control over the fine details. And that's just something that I have seen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create one more node, and we're gonna do it in our group post clip. So everything that's happening within this group is gonna be applied, right? What we're gonna do here is we're gonna come in and we're gonna go down to film look creator. And underneath the film look creator, we're gonna click on custom, and we're gonna keep film look blend to 1. Our core look, let's just see if we can play around with this to find one that we actually like. Let's stick to elated. I kind of like the greens in here. And then all we have to do here is do a slight exposure bump, and I might bring down my highlights a little, take down the fade. I'm not a really big fan of fade, by the way. I've never been a big fan of it. And we're gonna clean up our blacks ever so slightly. And I think that looks really good the way it is. I really like the way it's coming out. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and enable split toning, and I'm just gonna create a subtle split tone. And I'm gonna pivot to a little bit more green. I don't know why I'm going to the greens on this, but I think it's more because the emotions that are happening in here, you know, she's tired, she's hungry, and she's been looking for food for a long time. So I feel like the greens and the magentas will really help to portray what I want for the scene. And underneath vignette, I'm gonna actually uncheck that. I'm gonna keep halation, I'm gonna keep bloom, and I'm gonna uncheck grain because I'm not a big fan of the grain. And you can see on my scopes what's happening right here, right? We can make some subtle adjustments to our saturation and our temp and tint. And what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna find a better white balance point. Maybe I'll cool it off a little bit more. Something like that. Now our skin tones are sitting right here on our skin tone line. We do have heavy green that's happening in our highlights, which you can see. I really do like this look, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up into full screen. And that's what we have. That's what we're working with. All right, so that is the film look creator. And as you can tell, it's very fast and easy to use after you get your shots balanced and they're matched together in your scenes. It's very quick, right? Now, let's talk about Qazi's toolkit though. This is where things get very interesting because Qazi's tools, they let you control everything, like the contrast, the color separation, the saturation, you name it. The color compressor alone is a powerhouse. Now, the downside, it is a paid plugin, right? But in my opinion, it is well worth it, right? If you guys are serious about color grading, it's absolutely worth it. It's worth every penny. The value you get from it, I speak about it in almost every video. It is worth every cent. So let's go ahead and look at Qazi's toolkit first. So let's go ahead and look at Qazi's toolkit for a second. And I'm just going to go ahead and reset this. And then I'm going to create 4 more nodes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to get some more real estate here because I need some more space to work in. And of course, none of my nodes here are labeled. So I'm just going to put on here CST out. And that way I know exactly which node is which. And we're going to create one more node. And this one's going to be our charts. Now, underneath our DCTL, we're going to go back up here and find our DCTL. And we're just going to apply this to every single one like so. And on our charts, we're going to click on charts. And I'm going to go to the node prior. And I'm just going to take a look at what we got dealing with on this. I'm gonna keep it right here for our hero frame, because that way we're actually seeing her eyes. And I'm gonna look at our skin tone. Her complexion is on the darker side, and we do have some magenta happening right here, which is good. That means that we're sitting right where we want to sit. Our sat false color, we're not clipping on any of the saturation except for our highlight. That's the main thing, right? And I want a very stylized look for this, but let's just look right here on our balance, on our false color. We're sitting right here on mid gray. This is exactly where we need to be. All right, so for our looks, what we're gonna do is click on this and click on Look DNA. Now, underneath Look DNA, he does give us some presets to work with, right? And we have the Kodak 2383 and the Fuji 3513. And for this, let's just take a look at both here. I'm going to stick to Kodak 2383. And we're going to come into our color and we're going to go to color compressor. Now, this is where I told you that it is a powerhouse, because we can create all types of looks within seconds. So we're going to come in here and I'm just going to click on show selected color. I'm going to put our compression near. Don't worry, we're going to fix all this just in a second, but I really just want to find a good complementary color to work with. And seeing that this is a sci-fi film, we're gonna really dive into the blues, and this is gonna be a very stylized look that we're gonna create off of this one. And then on our highlight color cutoff, all I'm gonna do is find a happy medium. Yeah, I feel like this is actually a really good happy medium right here. And I'm gonna actually compress a little bit on our far side. I'm not gonna do it too much, but I am gonna do it just a little, okay? Now, I know that this looks a lot darker and it's very contrasty. You could see how much saturation we're running into. We're gonna fix all that. We're gonna go back into our look adjustment. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cool this off. Actually, let's go ahead and warm it up a little. We're gonna bring in the magenta a little. And I'm gonna adjust my exposure ever so slightly, okay? And what we're gonna do here is we're going to go into our sat control, so that way we have a little bit more control over everything, like all the other stuff that's happening in here. What I'm doing here now is I'm adjusting the saturation and the contrast and making sure that everything lines up to where we need it to be. So we're going to go in here and we're going to click on our sat false color. So that way we're actually seeing what's happening. I mean, look at this. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm primarily paying attention to right here on our skin. I'm just going to dial it back because I don't want that much saturation happening. And underneath our highlights, I'm just going to bring down our highlights ever so slightly. Okay. And in a matter of seconds, we have this look that's happening. And I really love this look. I love what's happening here. Let's go ahead and take a look at both of them, make sure that they're matched. And they are. I mean, look at this. Now, I do notice right now that her hair is starting to fall underneath our shadow line, and it looks like we're clipping a little, and that's perfectly fine. We're going to go ahead and fix that. We're going to go back into our balance. And I'm just going to come in here and just bring up the contrast ever so slightly, so that way it's not clipping. Okay. And then our last node, since we have a lot of dinge on here, and I don't like the dinge, it's what I'll call it. We'll come in here and go to our log settings, and then I'm just going to correct this. You guys see what's happening over here? So when I'm correcting my undertones, pay attention to right around here, and that's actually right here. That's our blacks that's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and correct this. Get that into more of the blacks. And that looks a lot better. I mean, that took away a lot of the dinge is what I like to call it. Let's put it in full screen. You can actually see what's happening right here. Pay attention to this. Okay, you see that? It's taking away that color cast that we have. And that looks really good. The last thing that we want to do is actually put on noise reduction. And I actually like this look better than the film look creator. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with this one for the time being. Nothing against film look creator. I've used it on several projects. I just like the way that this looks. So we're gonna go ahead and put in noise reduction. I'm putting my noise reduction in right before my color space transform. And this is what works best for me anyway. And we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do just subtle. So I'm gonna do right at 2 frames better. Now, if you guys are working on the free version, you're not gonna have this available, but there is alternatives. So I'm going to uncheck this. This is important. I'm just going to work on the chroma 8.8. It's just enough to take away a lot of the noise that's happening. And then underneath my post, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to create one more node before this. We're going to go ahead and close this off. Come into our sharpening and I'm just going to sharpen it back up a little. Okay. And that does a lot. I mean, look at this. It took away a lot of that digital gunk. But look how beautiful. This is absolutely incredible what I was able to create in a matter of a few minutes. This is our final look. I know my computer is not going to play it well, so I'm not even going to try, but it looks really good. I really love the way that this turned out. So which one should you use? It depends. Like if you are using the free version of DaVinci Resolve and need a quick way to get a solid look, Film Look Creator is a great option. But if you want more precision and flexibility, Qazi's toolkit is a game changer. And again, I put a link in the description box for you guys. I encourage you guys to check it out because it is literally amazing. And that is it. Now I want to hear from you guys. Which one do you guys prefer? The Film Look Creator, or does Qazi's toolkit give you guys the control that you need? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget that Qazi's toolkit giveaway is still open for another week. So you guys can click the link in the description box to enter. If this video has helped you guys out, please share it with your friends and your fellow colorists that you are working with or any other filmmakers. You know, our main mission is literally to equip you guys with the tools and the knowledge that you need to succeed. All right, we will see you guys in the next one. As always, practice and create.